she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry.
And what she's revealing about Meghan Markle's first marriage contains evidence so explosive that legal experts are now examining whether federal fraud statutes may have been violated.
Royal watchers and curious fans around the world were left stunned when reports began to spread that Prince Harry had broken down in tears after shocking claims surfaced about Meghan Markle's past. What first sounded like just another rumor quickly turned into something far more dramatic, as Meghan's ex-husband was said to have revealed a deeply hidden story that no one saw coming. So, could there really be truth behind these claims? And what unexpected secrets might still be waiting to be uncovered? But do you think Meghan truly has a child for her ex-husband? Let us know what you think in the comments. And to help us keep uncovering stories like this, make sure you subscribe so more people can stay informed. Prince Harry's explosive accusations. On January 23, 2026, a surprising and emotional shift in Prince Harry's attitude came into the spotlight. Not long ago, Harry had proudly said, "What Meghan wants, Meghan gets," making it clear that he fully supported and even encouraged every step of his relationship with Meghan Markle. But now everything seems to have changed. The same man who once defended his choices without hesitation is beginning to look back with regret, calling some of those decisions a mistake. Now, Harry appears to be pointing fingers not just at Meghan, but also at the very institution he once broke away from, the British royal family. He argues that they failed him at a crucial moment in his life. According to him, they should have stepped in, slowed things down, and protected him from making what he now believes was a rushed and poorly thought-out decision. In his view, the family did not fulfill their duty to guide him, especially during a time when he admits he may not have been thinking clearly. However, not everyone agrees with this perspective. Princess Anne, known for her straightforward and no-nonsense attitude, reportedly sees Harry's claims as nothing more than selfishness. From her point of view, Harry is avoiding responsibility for the choices he made himself. Back in 2018, when the royal wedding took place at St. George's Chapel, Harry was not a passive participant. In fact, he was the driving force behind the fast pace of the relationship. The romance moved quickly. Within just 8 months, the couple went from meeting to marriage. Despite quiet concerns from his brother, Prince William, Harry pushed forward. Traditional royal checks and careful background reviews were either rushed or set aside entirely. At the time, Harry strongly defended his independence and his right to choose his own path. Now, years later, things look very different. Harry's career in Hollywood seems to have slowed down, and the excitement around the Sussex brand has started to fade. Major deals that once brought headlines are cooling off, and public interest does not seem as strong as before. At the same time, his marriage is reportedly under strain, especially with new rumors and old stories coming back into the public eye. Because of this, Harry is now directing his frustration at what he calls the men in gray suits, a phrase often used to describe royal advisors. He believes they failed to act as protectors of the royal family's future. He also includes his father, King Charles III, and even the late Queen Elizabeth II in this criticism. According to Harry, they should have taken a stronger role in guiding him, especially considering his emotional struggles at the time. Insiders describe Harry's current state of mind as deeply frustrated and filled with a sense of being wronged. He reportedly sees his current challenges, both personal and professional, as direct consequences of his marriage. By blaming the royal family for allowing the relationship to move forward, he seems to be stepping away from the responsibility he once strongly claimed during the time of Megxit. At the same time, old parts of Meghan's past are being dragged back into public discussion. Her former husband, Trevor Engelson, has once again become a topic of conversation. While their previous marriage has always been known, new and unverified rumors have started to spread about an even earlier period in Meghan's life, including her time at Northwestern University. Some of these rumors go much further, claiming that Meghan may have had a secret marriage at the age of 19, possibly even before her relationship with Trevor. Even more shocking are claims about a supposed child from that alleged relationship who was later given up for adoption. It is important to note that these claims remain unproven and are widely dismissed by credible experts. However, their presence online has still created tension and emotional strain. What makes the situation even more dramatic is Harry's reaction. In the past, he strongly defended Meghan against any criticism or rumor. But now, instead of standing united, he is said to be directing his anger in two directions, toward Meghan and toward the royal family. Ironically, the very royal vetting process Harry once rejected is now something he wishes had been stronger. In his current view, what once felt like freedom and independence now feels like a lack of guidance. Was Harry truly failed by the system around him, or is he now struggling to accept the weight of his own choices? Let's take a closer look to understand Prince Harry's current deep anger and growing sense of bitterness. Prince Harry's regret. Harry and Meghan's relationship moved at a speed that many people found surprising. They first met in July 2016, and by May 2018, they were already married.
Your Royal Highness, Meghan Markle, congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Can we start with the proposal and the actual moment of your engagement? When did it happen? How did it happen?
In the world of royal relationships, where careful planning and deep investigations are usually the norm, this was seen as unusually fast. Normally, anyone joining the royal family, especially someone connected to the line of succession, goes through very detailed background checks. But according to Harry, that process may not have been followed as strictly as it should have been. Harry now believes that senior palace officials, often referred to as the gray suits, were too worried about public opinion. He claims they feared being seen as unwelcoming or even biased, so they avoided asking difficult questions or digging too deeply into Meghan's past. In his view, the monarchy chose to protect its public image in the short term, instead of protecting his future in the long term. A source close to his California circle suggests that Harry feels he was not given the same level of care and attention as others, partly because he was always seen as the spare rather than the future king. This belief has deeply affected how Harry sees his life today. He feels that his personal struggles, especially his challenges in Hollywood, are the result of a foundation that was not properly built. To him, everything that is now falling apart started with decisions made years ago. He believes he was not properly guided or prepared for the life he was stepping into, and now he wants his father and the royal institution to take responsibility for that lack of direction. Over time, people have noticed a clear change in Harry's personality. Once seen as a loving and devoted husband, he now appears more frustrated and bitter. He openly questions the way he was raised and the choices he made, often placing the blame on the environment he grew up in. This shift has created tension, not just within his personal life, but also between him and the royal family. It is setting the stage for what could become a very serious and emotional confrontation. As the world watches the ongoing struggles between Harry and Meghan, the royal family is no longer staying completely silent. However, the response is not coming from the king. Instead, it is being led by one of the most disciplined and respected members of the family, Princess Anne. Known for her calm and steady approach, she is stepping into a situation that is growing more intense by the day. While the drama continues in California, where Harry and Meghan are based, another important figure has quietly become part of the story. Thousands of miles away, in a completely different world, Trevor Engelson, Meghan's former husband, is beginning to draw attention again. To truly understand the seriousness of the current situation, it is important to look beyond simple labels like first marriage and recognize who he really is. Trevor Engelson is not just Meghan's ex-husband. He is a powerful Hollywood producer and literary manager with a net worth of more than $10 million. Over the years, he has built a reputation as someone who is focused, disciplined, and highly skilled at surviving in the competitive entertainment industry. He is also known for his ability to create and shape public images and, if necessary, take them apart. His relationship with Meghan began in 2004.
In today's news, before Meghan Markle joined the royal family and married Prince Harry, she was previously wedded to Hollywood producer Trevor Engelson.
Long before she became widely known. At that time, she was still trying to make her way as an actress. Over the next decade, he was there as her career slowly grew, eventually leading to her role on the popular TV series Suits. Their relationship lasted for many years, and in 2011, they celebrated their marriage with a 4-day wedding in Jamaica. However, the marriage did not last. By 2013, it had ended, and reports suggest that the breakup was sudden and deeply painful for Engelson. One detail that stood out was how the marriage ended. His wedding rings were reportedly returned to him in a simple FedEx envelope, a gesture that many described as cold and unexpected. For Engelson, it was a moment that left him shocked and heartbroken. broken. After the divorce, Engelson chose to remain silent. For years, he stayed out of the spotlight, avoiding public drama and focusing on rebuilding his life. He later married Erin Tracy Kurland and created a new, private life that appeared stable and successful. His silence became almost mysterious, as he never spoke publicly about his past with Meghan. But as of January 2026, that silence seems to be changing. Rumors have begun to spread, fueled by what some describe as digital forensic leaks. These reports suggest that Engelson may no longer be willing to stay in the background. Instead, there are hints of a quiet but deliberate release of information, a kind of shadow campaign that is slowly bringing old details back into the public eye. At the center of this growing drama is a period of time that goes even further back, before Engelson himself was part of Meghan's life. Is Meghan's marriage to Trevor her second, or was she married to someone else? Let's find out. Northwestern secret and allegations. At the center of the current high-stakes drama is a story many people are now calling the Northwestern secret, a chapter said to come from Meghan's years at Northwestern University between 1999 and 2003.
The show, Meghan Markle on the bravery of sharing personal story.
According to unofficial reports and circulating social media dossiers, a surprising claim has emerged, one that challenges the widely accepted version of Meghan's past. These reports suggest that her marriage to Trevor Engelson may not have been her second marriage, as commonly believed, but actually her third. The story goes even deeper. It claims that at just 19 years old, a young and impulsive Meghan may have entered into a legal marriage with a man named Joseph Goldberg Giuliano. This mysterious figure, largely unknown to the public until recently, has reportedly resurfaced in the more shadowy corners of investigative tabloids. According to these unverified allegations, the supposed marriage did not last long. It is said to have been either quickly annulled or quietly erased from official records through powerful legal intervention. Some versions of the story claim that the man's wealthy and influential family strongly disapproved of the union and acted swiftly to make it disappear. If any part of this were ever proven true, it would suggest that Meghan's personal history had been carefully reshaped long before she stepped into the global spotlight. Such a revelation would carry serious consequences, especially considering her later marriage to Prince Harry and her entry into the British royal family. Harry had once strongly defended his wife's past, particularly her status as a divorcee, at a time when there was quiet skepticism within royal circles. The idea that there could be an additional hidden chapter in her life, one never publicly acknowledged, would likely come as a deeply unsettling shock. For someone who has stood by her so firmly, this kind of claim could feel like a betrayal, or, at the very least, a painful mystery he struggles to understand. But the rumors do not stop there. Even more controversial is what some are calling the abandoned child theory. This idea, widely spread through YouTube exposés and leaked online documents, suggests that the alleged one-year marriage may have resulted in the birth of a child, a daughter. According to this theory, the child was later given up for adoption or placed in an orphanage as Meghan pursued what would become a rapidly rising career in Hollywood. The story takes an even stranger turn with the involvement of Samantha Markle. Some theorists claim that a girl named Noel, believed to be Samantha's daughter, could actually be Meghan's biological child, secretly raised within the family. However, it is important to stress that there is no credible evidence, no verified birth records, no confirmed documents, and no photographic proof to support these claims. Despite this, the rumor has spread widely, creating a wave of moral debate and public curiosity that continues to grow. Many are now asking a simple question: why are these stories appearing now? Part of the answer may lie in new alleged materials connected to Trevor Engelson. Reports suggest that a so-called dossier linked to him contains far more than just rumors about past relationships. It is said to include digital archives and raw, unedited drafts from The Tig, Meghan's former lifestyle blog, which she ran before joining the royal family. These early drafts, reportedly dating back to around 2014, are believed to show a woman carefully editing and reshaping her personal story, removing details that no longer fit the image she wanted to present to the world. Alongside this are additional claims about her social life during those years, including allegations that she spent time on luxury yachts in the Mediterranean, mixing with wealthy and influential circles. Critics argue that this paints a different picture of her rise, one that appears more strategic and transactional than the empowering independent narrative she has often presented. There are also supposed witness statements from individuals who claim to have known Meghan during her university years. These individuals reportedly say they were present during key moments and were asked to remain silent about what they saw or knew. Whether these accounts are true or not remains unclear, but they have added fuel to an already intense fire of speculation. As for Trevor Engelson, insiders suggest that this situation is not about money or personal gain. In 2026, he is said to be thriving professionally in the competitive world of Hollywood. Instead, some believe his connection to these resurfacing stories may be driven by something more personal, a desire for truth, or perhaps even a sense of closure. Having known Meghan long before her royal life, his role, whether active or passive, in allowing these rumors to surface is seen by some as a quiet but powerful form of revenge from a man who may have once felt overlooked or left behind. As these claims made their way to the gates of Buckingham Palace in mid-January, the royal institution faced a difficult choice. Should they safeguard the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, or will they prioritize the protection of the crown? Let's find out. Prince Harry's period of betrayal. As the days edged into late January 2026, the calm, salt-scented air of Montecito was shattered. The quiet of the Sussex estate, usually a refuge from the relentless gaze of the world, gave way to a tense, almost cinematic storm brewing behind its reinforced gates. What unfolded within those walls was not just a private dispute, it was a psychological drama of such intensity that it could rival any Hollywood thriller. Prince Harry, a man who had built a global image and risked the fragile bonds with his own family to defend the absolute truth of his wife's story, suddenly found himself standing on terrain that felt anything but solid. The resurfacing of Trevor Engelson's name and the viral explosion of the so-called Northwestern secret were not mere distractions. They struck at the very foundations of both Harry's public reputation and his private peace, shaking the stability of his mind itself. Friends and aides close to the couple described the stretch between January 15th and January 20th as a relentless marathon of arguments and confrontation. Harry, whose temperament has long been described as fiery and defensive, seemed to tip over into a state of near-constant paranoia. According to multiple accounts, a massive late-night confrontation roared through the halls of the mansion, leaving echoes of anger and shock in its wake. During this explosive exchange, Harry reportedly demanded the unvarnished forensic truth about events from the year 1999 through 2003, a period now under intense scrutiny. Unlike previous crises when the couple would present a united front to the world, this time the unity was fracturing. The use against the world narrative, which had long been the cornerstone of their public persona, was collapsing. Harry, a man shaped by the early loss of his mother and decades of feeling betrayed by the press and palace insiders, now faced what he may have perceived as the ultimate personal betrayal. Discovering that the woman for whom he had given up so much, possibly even his birthright, may have concealed a prior marriage and perhaps even a firstborn child, shook him to his core. It was, by every measure, a moral and emotional earthquake, leveling the worldview he had carefully constructed. In a tragic irony, the protector had become the prosecutor. Harry's instinct was no longer to shield Meghan, but to confront her, to seek accountability in a way that shocked those around him. Leaked accounts from staff describe him as incandescent with rage, pacing the manicured grounds of the estate, refusing to participate in the carefully crafted public relations strategy Meghan allegedly attempted to deploy. For the first time in more than a decade, Harry's protective armor seemed to vanish entirely. However, the combination of personal betrayal, long-buried fears, and a relentless quest for the truth seemed to push him into a state of extraordinary emotional volatility. How is Harry getting along with all these allegations? Is he upset with the monarchy? Let's find out. Harry's resentment towards monarchy. As the weight of the accusations became too heavy for Harry to carry on his own, his mind began to seek a way to cope. He needed someone, or something, to blame. In a flurry of desperate, emotional emails sent first to the king's private secretary and then to his brother's team, emails that William reportedly ignored, Harry shifted his anger toward the British royal family. His new understanding of the situation was sharp and radical. He believed the monarchy, along with the so-called men in gray suits, were responsible for his suffering because they failed to protect him from his own impulsive choices. According to sources close to him, Harry argued that the palace's vetting of his relationship was recklessly inadequate. In his view, in 2017, he was a traumatized, lost young man who should have been guided by a strong paternal institution. Instead, he felt the palace was so anxious about appearing unwelcoming or even racist that they rushed an 8-month courtship and greenlit a marriage built on gaps and omissions. This, he believes, left him vulnerable to problems he could not have anticipated. Harry's simmering resentment now revolves around the idea that the monarchy effectively threw him to the wolves. By letting him marry into a family and history he didn't fully understand, he argues, the palace set him up for failure. He sees his current professional struggles, canceled business deals, public criticism, and the gradual decay of his personal brand as direct consequences of this flawed guidance. In essence, he feels that the institution he was born into failed to act as the parent he needed most. The shadow of a discarded child, the ultimate moral and emotional blow, has proven especially destructive. Harry, whose post-royal identity has been built around being a devoted father and protector to Archie and Lilibet, reportedly cannot reconcile his values with the idea that he, as a firstborn, might have been neglected. The psychological toll has been immense. Every supportive or nurturing comment from Meghan now feels, to him, potentially hypocritical. Trapped in a web of secrets and unspoken grievances, his only outlet appears to be blaming the system that raised him. He believes that if the palace had done its job properly, he would have known the truth and would not now find himself stranded in California with a past he cannot defend. This narrative of victimhood has also put the royal family in a difficult position. As Harry waits, hoping for an apology or an acknowledgement of vetting mistakes, the palace determined that its period of quiet diplomacy had come to an end. While Harry's anger boiled over in Montecito, another kind of energy was rising in London. That energy came in the form of the Princess Royal, who was preparing to demonstrate a masterclass in accountability. As the fallout from Montecito threatened to spill over into Buckingham Palace, the British monarchy turned to its most formidable weapon, Princess Anne. On January 21, 2026, acting as an unofficial enforcer for the House of Windsor, she delivered a response that was as icy as it was precise. Known for her strict, no-nonsense approach and unwavering loyalty to the institution, Anne's intervention marked the end of the palace's strategy of silent negotiation. Her mission, sometimes referred to as the legal shield, was to defend the sanctity of the royal family and to contain the growing legal and constitutional panic. Through a series of briefings to senior royal correspondents, the palace, via Anne's office, made it absolutely clear that the Sussex marriage remained legitimate. Her statement, carefully measured and authoritative, signaled that the era of quiet diplomacy was over. The Princess Royal had stepped in not only to protect the crown, but also to draw a line. So, is Anne speaking for the monarchy? How did she respond to Harry? Let's find out. Anne's response to Harry. Anne tackled the rumors about Meghan Markle's supposed secret Northwestern marriage with clear, practical reasoning. She pointed out that even if the stories about Meghan secretly marrying at age 19 were true, she was legally an adult. Under both British and American law, she had the right to make her own decisions and enter into a marriage. Most importantly, Anne emphasized that at the time of the royal wedding in May 2018, both Harry and Meghan were legally single. The palace had checked and confirmed their marital status as of 2017. This meant their wedding at St. George's Chapel was completely legal and valid. Regarding claims of deceit, Anne dismissed the idea that the palace had failed. She explained that the Crown's responsibility is only to confirm the legal eligibility of those marrying into the family, not to investigate a person's teenage choices or moral history. This placed the responsibility for honesty and trust back on the couple, framing any omissions as a private moral matter rather than a failure by the institution. Anne's response also directly challenged Harry's attempt to portray himself as a victim. Harry had suggested that the royal family should have prevented him from rushing into marriage, but Anne expressed clear frustration with this view. She described his stance as purely emotional and lacking maturity. She reminded everyone that Harry was a man in his 30s when he met Meghan, not a child. Anne highlighted the contradiction. Harry had fought strongly for independence and freedom during Megxit, yet he was now portraying himself as someone traumatized who needed the family to guide his romantic decisions. A source close to Anne revealed that the Crown had provided a £32 million wedding, including the sovereign's blessing and the highest honors of the land. To now blame the family for not guiding him was, according to Anne, not just ungrateful. It was a betrayal of the dignity Harry once claimed to uphold. However, Anne shifted from legal arguments to a moral message. In her role as aunt and grandmother, she expressed deep disappointment with Harry and Meghan for letting their personal drama take precedence over the well-being of their children, Archie and Lilibet. She criticized them for abandoning responsibility and allowing secrets and disputes to overshadow their duty as parents, showing a mix of heartache, anger, and moral authority. So, what do you think about Prince Harry's reaction after Meghan's ex-husband's shocking revelation? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.